Hey guys, how you going? Alright, let's carry on then. Next fact. They have the ability to be anywhere in the world or host and possess people from any location on Earth. I have noticed this when I'd be online or anything like that, where just say I had something happen, like a bad thing happen that day, I'd be online and they could actually host or leverage a person that was, say, from England or America, like another country, and they would actually insult me through that person online in real time. And I knew it was them because the specifics of their insult related to the thing that happened to me that day. So I have learnt that their capabilities and their means do enable them to either be in any location on Earth in real time or host and possess people from any location on Earth in real time. This indeed is true. Alright, next fact. Next fact. The reason they have been winning for such a long time. One word answers this, people. Teamwork. They are working as a team. We, however, are being divided and conquered. While we are being divided by them and separated into small groups and being distracted and arguing and fighting amongst ourselves, they have been winning the whole time, people. The whole time they have been winning and in charge. We need to realise this, wake up to it, and start uniting people across the globe, across all of Earth. We all need to unite as the people of Earth, the family of Earth. All of us, this is the only way we can overcome their influence. Alright, next fact. Next fact. What type of people are getting attacked by them these days? So I covered this previously in my earlier videos in regards to like the native, tribal and spiritual people, but I wanted to add a little bit more in regards to this. So today's standards, a lot of different type of people are actually finding themselves encountering these Archons or being attacked by them. To explain a bit more into this, it could be quite a lengthy explanation, so I'll compress my answer while still giving enough information to, so everyone understands what's going on. The truth is basically all of us, all the people of Earth are actually being upgraded, or we're passing through what could be considered an evolutionary cycle. Now, the people who are noticing the Archons or, being attacked by them or encountering them for the first time, these people are upgrading. That's why the Archons are encountering them, or they're encountering the Archons and being attacked, is because the Archons do not want this. So to go into a bit more depth, pretty much what is happening is the positive forces are picking selected people from around the globe, from around Earth, from different countries and various locations. What they indeed are doing is linking up a network. Now, if you wanted to say upgrade computers, like computer systems, a room full of computer systems, instead of upgrading one computer, go to the next, upgrade another computer, go to the next, that would be time consuming, labour intensive, and just it'd take too long. So if you were to link up all them computers via a network, then you could go to the master console or the master PC, install the upgrade from there, and it will in turn upgrade the entire network, the entire system. This is the best example of what is going on Earth, people, is we are all being upgraded and networks are being established. The Archons are fighting heavily against this. That's why people now are really starting to notice them, because the positive forces are doing what they do and the Archons are trying to stop it. So that's why people now, it's, random different types of people are starting to, encountering them and be attacked, because the selective group of people that have got the upgrade software, so to speak, installed on them, which is going to roll out across the entire planet, they're the ones that are being attacked now, because they're pretty much like the servers of the network. Alright, moving on. Okay, next fact. They have been called the Lords of Karma by many, but this is not true. A more sufficient or fitting title would be entrapment artists or manipulation artists. In regards to karma, karma is a force that is there to keep balance. It shows no bias. It doesn't pick any sides. It's not selfish or greedy, or It is simply there to keep balance. The Archons, however, are not about this. The Archons will trick, manipulate and trap and basically set you up for failure, then once you fail, set you up for more failure. Karma does not act this way. Karma is about balance. The Archons are about entrapment and keeping you enslaved. A thing too though is the Archons, however, even they cannot escape the laws of karma. Basically, karma is balancing out, and they are noticing and basically getting the backlash from this. So karma is a force that no one can escape, and it appears that so too the Archons, they cannot escape it either. Alright, moving on. Next fact. They use music to control the masses via subliminal programming, set frequencies, and the emotional response. So basically, that they understand that everything in this reality, this environment, this planet, everything that is in it has a set frequency or a resonance or a vibration. And they understand this. They understand this very well. Pretty much we respond or have an energetic or an emotional response in regards to music. So pretty much what they would do is they would use music and implant subliminal information into it. If they adjust certain frequencies, ranges, and put certain things into the music, that can actually affect us. It can program us. So you'll notice if you listen to sort of happy music, you'll get a happy feeling. If you listen to very angry music, you'll get aggressive and want to fight. The type of music or input of the vibration that we take in is a correlation to the emotional response that we give off in regards to the sound that we take in. They know and understand this very well. They know and understand us and how we operate very well. This is the tool they use. Pretty much, not to take any credit away from this artist, but you'll notice when Eminem first hit the scene, pretty much his music was very dark and deep and sort of sent chills up people's spines, because it was very, it was his way of venting, through things or experiences that he'd had in his life. Mind you, that were most likely caused by them, but the reason he was allowed to even become famous was because of what he was venting through his music and putting out there. It was spread because the energies given off from the teenagers and people that listen to that type of music, it would generate negative energy, because they would get angry, they would hate the world, they would want to rebel, they would want to fight. It would invoke that sort of energetic response and an emotional feeling. That's why he was allowed to become so big and so successful at first. And then you'll notice throughout his career, at first it was very dark and deep, and sort of that set off his career because they wanted to spread that energy. And then you notice gradually an actual change in his music and his style and the way he went about things. Good guys, people. They've obviously either gotten through to him, or he's had an epiphany, or he's just growing up or maturing, quite possibly. But that is an example of how the music works and how they use it against us. Alright, moving on. Next fact. Once you become aware of them, they will use a second layer of control upon you. So pretty much to explain, this is the first hurdle you have to overcome, is actually becoming aware of them. And people will say, that they're awake and things like that, and pretty much when you do wake up and become aware of them, you will know it. There will be no mistaking it or missing it. Pretty much when you wake up to what's really going on and encounter the Archons, for everyone it may be very different or things like that, but you are going to experience some very bizarre and strange things you cannot explain or understand. But pretty much that's the first hurdle, is just waking up to them and becoming aware of them. Once you do, though, you've broken free of the first layer of control, which is them being hidden from you. Then what they would do, the second layer, is pretty much they'll try to make you feel isolated, alone, fearful, scared, too intimidated to actually speak up about it and talk to people about it. So once you do wake up to them in that, they will bully you and intimidate you to basically make you keep your mouth shut. if you do fall for that, then you have fallen into the second trap, the second layer of their control. So yes, you may have escaped the first layer, but you have been snared in the second trap, the second layer of control. So you will notice, once you're aware of them and do wake up to them, that they have many layers of control that they will try to enforce upon you and put upon you, and you may very well notice them as they show up or appear or represent themselves. But yes, they will use many different types of layers of control that are put upon you. But that there is just a second one that you'll notice pretty much immediately, and as my videos progress and time goes on, I'll explain more in regards to this. Alright, moving on. Next fact. They can even host, possess animals and all living things. This is, quite a remarkable skill, not only in regards to us, the humans, but it appears that they can actually host or possess or connect to all living things, all animals, sort of birds, cats, dogs, dolphins, sort of pretty much anything. Bears, any living animal, they actually have the ability to connect to it. Connect to its senses, its line of vision, vocal, everything. That hearing, they can pretty much connect to any animal and experience all their senses. If you're aware of them, you pretty much keep an eye out for bizarre animal behaviour around you. So just say a black crow comes and lands next to you on the ground or on a fence or things like that. Now, generally birds, when they land, they'll sort of land, but they may have a quick glance at you, but then go about their business, pecking on the ground or jumping from tree branch to tree branch or walking on the fence tops and things like that. Generally, they'll look at you at first, but then go about their business. You will notice, though, when they are actually hosting an animal, it'll be quite peculiar or bizarre behaviour. It'll be like this bird, just say a crow lands beside you, instead of doing what its normal, regular behaviour would be for that type of species, it'll almost feel like it's just standing there leering at you or staring at you, and it'll be very fixated on you and just watching you. Things like this indeed are telltale signs that yes, that animal is actually being hosted or manipulated and they're actually watching you. It's another tactic they will use if you start to become aware of the people that they're hosting and manipulating around you to actually monitor you. They do indeed have the abilities to do the very same thing to animals. So something to keep an eye out for. I can assure you it is true. Right, moving on. Next fact. They can perform an energetic attack upon your chest. I actually had this. It was quite bizarre actually, but they can actually perform. It's like an energetic burst on your chest, and when they actually done this to me, it was rather hard to encounter, simply because they done it via my son, which was a hard thing to accept and see, but they did do it. Pretty much I was sitting in the lounge room with my son. I think he was about 5 at the time, and we have conversations. He likes to talk about sort of all sorts of things, and sort of spirits and animals and things like that. And we ended up on the topic of sort of like guardian angels and things like that. And I said to him, all of us have special sort of spiritual guides, or angelic beings, or good people watching over all of us. I said, I learned that today, son. And he's like, oh, did you, Dad? I'm like, yeah, I've learned a bit of this, learned a bit of that. And then he stopped and looked at me and said, you know what I learnt today, Dad? I said, what'd you learn, boy? And he looked at me like this and went, nothing. And bang, just as soon as he done that, I copped this massive energetic burst to my chest. It was almost like someone reached in, grabbed my heart and sort of twisted. It was very intense. They'd actually, hosted him and used him to perform this attack upon me. Now I don't know whether it's because the heart actually, operates on electrical impulses, and that's why they were able to do that to my heart center, but it could quite possibly, be the reason why, because of electrical impulses which actually generate the heartbeat. Same as our brains with the electrical, the electrolysis or the synapses of our nerve endings in our brain. It could be anything that is electrically conductive or anything like that they may be able to manipulate or alter it or do attacks on those sorts of zones of the human body. But yes, they can indeed perform an energetic burst to your chest, and if they do it to you, there'll be no missing it or denying it. You will know. Right, moving on. Next fact. You can't outsmart them. They have a massive advantage over us, but you can keep them guessing. Spontaneous thinking is the way of doing this. So pretty much, if you do encounter them and if you've watched my previous videos and that where I explain where they can actually read your mind, they know what you're thinking. So in regards to strategies and ways to sort of work around them and things that you want to do is, the moment you have a thought or a thought form, they are able to read that. So if you try and plan any strategy or an idea, they're already going to read it and know and have a countermeasure or a means to get around it. So it's very hard to try and outsmart them because they already know what you've thought of before you verbally even get it out, you know. So I have found where you can sometimes slip them up or trip them up, or you know, if with spontaneous thinking, instead of planning something, be spontaneous. So go, just say you're in an environment or whatever, and you say within your mind, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to tell these people, and they sit there and think, oh, okay, and they'll wait to try and distract you or anything like that, and just sit there, and then if you want, don't say anything, or be spontaneous and change the subjects, topics, things like that. If you can keep it bouncing around and have spontaneous thought, it sort of takes away the time for them to actually plan and negate and create countermeasures. So it's just a little thing you can do. Another thing I do is just occasionally to sort of just bug them a little, I suppose, and aggravate them, is I will just sing really badly in my mind, or imagine, if you will, basically you're on a radio and you're switching between stations. So I'll start singing one song in my head, and then all of a sudden switch to another song, then I'll go to like a fire truck siren, or you know, I'll go to a toilet flush sound, and just randomly change sounds within my mind, like a white noise, a static noise, lightning, wind, just cat meows, just jump around and do random sounds. And I have found that, yeah, this at times can be quite aggravating for them. It appears that it actually gives them a headache, but unfortunately the good guys, they suffer from that too. So it's something that I try not to do too often, but just sometimes for a bit of a laugh or just to annoy them, you know, I do things like this. But yeah, so anyway, we'll move on to the next fact, shall we? Okay, next fact. Take time to self-analyze, know and understand everything about yourself. So pretty much you need to take the time to analyze yourself. So people will look at themselves just briefly and go, yes, I like that. But then they don't look into why, or you know, reasons and things like that. You need to self-analyze, so to understand yourself, because they know you very well. However, they know you a lot better than you know yourself. So you need to sometimes just stop and just self-analyze. Have a good look at sort of the way you go about things, things that sort of may offend you, or things that, you know, just little habits and things that you do, because like posture, things like that, just pay attention to a lot of little things about yourself, because they know and understand. So the more in tune to who you are as a person, and the reasons why you think the way you do, and when you've encountered things in your life, how that has affected you and made you respond to that situation, they know all that stuff. If you don't take the time to think about all those things, basically that's a way they can manipulate you, or trick you, or deceive you, or ensnare you in traps, because they know and have a log pretty much of all these responses that you've given to certain environments or variables that you've encountered in your life. So it's always good just to think to a little bit deeper levels in regards to everything you encounter in life, and aspects, and just in how you responded to them, and try and work on self-growth and things like that, because they know everything about you. You should know everything about you. The moment you do, it puts you in a greater position to be able to spot them out, see when they're actually manipulating you and doing things like that, because if you're more aware of yourself, you in turn will become more aware of them. Alright, yeah, we'll get one more fact out, eh? Alright, next fact. They will never give up. They are very patient. I've noticed this and witnessed this. Pretty much, they are relentless. They are like pit bulls. They will never let go. They will never give up. They may quieten down from their insults and things like that, and you'll think, oh, they're gone, but no, they're never gone. They are always around, and they will never quit. They will always look for ways, means, angles to try and manipulate you, set you up, basically control you and snare you and create problems and dramas in your life, you know. So don't always or ever be blasé or like sort of complacent in regards to them, because they are relentless. They won't stop, and they will always be there. It's the moment you become aware of them, you always have to sort of keep that in the back of your mind, that yes, that they are around, and there could be a possibility of something happening or them trying to trip you up. And so you don't have to be paranoid and freaking out about it, but just always keep that in your mind, as they will always wait around, and they are very patient. They can wait a whole lifetime if they need. Alright, what I'll do is I'll wrap this video up here for now, and yeah, if you wish to follow on to the next video to hear more of what I speak of, I guess I'll see you there. Thank you very much for your time.